Hello friends, welcome back to Juris Lens. Today we are subject to discuss kinds of constitution. Before directly jumping into the topic, let's understand why this classification matters. Dear friends, this classification matters to understand the foundation of governance of a country. This shows how power is created, how power is limited, and how power is exercised. Hence, this classification is necessary. Number 2, comparative study. Dear friends, when we compare our constitution with the other constitutions around the world on clear criteria like origin, flexibility, and system, we would understand how our Indian constitution is complete constitution. Therefore, this classification is necessary. Number 3, clarity of India's position. Friends, even if you read our constitution 10 times in any language, you will not understand it quickly. The reason is, it is not a story, a novel, or a poem. It is a political, economical, and social program. To understand the constitution, one must know its background and relevance. Unless one understands India, one cannot understand the constitution of India. If one doesn't understand the constitution of India, one cannot understand its basic principles. The basic principles of the constitution guide the daily work of our legislature, executive, and judiciary. Dear friends, Constitution explains why India is called federal with a unitary bias. Therefore, this classification is necessary. Number 4, legal and political understanding of a country. This guides the lawmaking process in a particular country, their policy design and public administration. Therefore, this classification is necessary. Number 5, judicial interpretation. Dear friends, Supreme Court is the guardian of the Indian Constitution. While interpreting laws, it reads the constitutional text through the lenses like rigidity and federal balance, etc. Hence, this classification is significant. Number 6, global perspective. Dear friends, this places India alongside other systems like UK, USA, France, and European Union. Hence, this classification is necessary. Now, let's understand the kinds of constitution. Dear friends, there are 5 kinds of the constitution. Number 1, constitutions based on origin or form. Number 2, constitutions based on flexibility, that is amendability. Number 3, constitutions based on system, that is distribution of power. Number 4, constitutions based on the nature of government, that is monarchical versus republican. And number 5, constitutions based on governance framework. Now let's begin with the constitutions based on origin or form. Friends, constitutions can be studied based on their origin or form. That is, how they came into existence and whether they were deliberately created or evolved naturally. This classification reveals the historical, political, and social processes that shaped a nation's fundamental law. It also helps to understand whether the constitution reflects popular sovereignty that is created by the people through representatives or whether it grew gradually through customs and conventions. Dear friends, in this classification, constitutions are generally divided into 2 major types. Number 1, written or enacted constitutions, and number 2, unwritten or evolutionary constitutions. Number 1, written or enacted constitutions. Dear friends, a written or codified constitution is a deliberate creation of a specific body such as Constituent Assembly or Constitutional Convention which drafts and formally adopts it. It is recorded in a single authoritative document that serves as the supreme law of the land. Friends, the written constitution explicitly defines the powers of the government, the rights and duties of citizens, and the procedures for amending it. Dear friends, it represents a conscious and deliberate effort to lay down the principles governing the state, unlike those systems that evolve organically over centuries. Then what are the characteristics of a written constitution? Number 1, deliberate and conscious creation. Dear friends, a written constitution is prepared deliberately by a representative or expert body such as Constituent Assembly. Friends, a written constitution reflects the collective will of the people, often formed during or after major political transitions, for example, independence, revolution, or the end of monarchy. Number 2, codified in a single document. Friends, where there is a written constitution, the provisions are systematically arranged in a single document. The written constitution defines governmental powers, structures, and limits, ensuring clarity and certainty. Friends, written constitution avoids ambiguity by explicitly mentioning rights, duties, and procedures. Number 3, supreme law of the land. Friends, the written constitution stands above all other laws. Any ordinary law conflicting with it, it is declared void by the judiciary. Number 4, clarity and accessibility. Since it is written, citizens, lawyers, and administrators can refer to it easily. Friends, written constitution acts as a clear legal reference and ensures a transparency. Number 5, rigidity or flexibility. Friends, depending on the amendment process, a written constitution can be rigid or otherwise flexible. When I say it is rigid, amendments require a special or complex procedure, say for example United States of America. And when I say it is flexible, amendments can be made easily through ordinary lawmaking procedures, say for example New Zealand. Dear friends, the Indian constitution is partly rigid and partly flexible. Number 6, certainty and stability. Since it is codified, the political structure remains stable and predictable. Dear friends, where there is a written constitution, it reduces arbitrary exercise of power. Friends, India, United States of America and France constitutions are the best examples of written constitution. Now let's understand the merits of a written constitution. Number 1, clarity and precision. Dear friends, if a constitution is a written constitution, laws and rights are clearly expressed in one document. Number 2, stability. Friends, where there is a written constitution, the structure of government and division of powers remain constant. Number 3, judicial protection. Friends, courts can easily determine constitutional validity if it is a written constitution. Number 4, accountability. It provides a standard against which government actions can be judged, which means that every action of the government could be enforceable before the court of law if it is against the provisions of the constitution. Number 5, national unity. Dear friends, it acts as a symbol of sovereignty and unity, reflecting the collective will of the people. Now let's focus on demerits of a written constitution. Number 1, rigidity. Friends, if amendment procedures are too strict or rigid, necessary reforms may be delayed. Number 2, complexity. Friends, large written constitutions can be hard for ordinary citizens to fully understand. This is the disadvantage of a written constitution. Number 3, possibility of judicial overreach. Since judges interpret the constitution here, they may dominate political decisions as seen in USA in the name of judicial activism. Number 4, delay in adaptation. Friends, legal formalities may slow down necessary responses to social change. This is a demerit of a written constitution. Friends, a written constitution is a conscious legal document created to provide clarity, authority and stability to a state's governance. It ensures that both the rulers and the ruled act within clearly defined limits, thus promoting the rule of law and constitutionalism. Dear friends, constitutions based on origin or form is divided into two constitutions, namely written and unwritten constitution. Already we have discussed the written constitution. Now let's focus on unwritten or evolutionary or conventional constitutions. Number 2, unwritten or evolutionary constitutions. Friends, remember, an unwritten or evolutionary constitution is not contained in a single document. Instead, it evolves gradually over centuries through customs, conventions, judicial decisions, charters and statutes. It represents the organic development of constitutional principles rather than deliberate codification. In such systems, constitutional rules are derived from historical documents, legislative acts, judicial precedents, and political conventions. These evolve naturally as the political culture of the nation grows. Then what are the characteristics of unwritten constitution? Number 1, gradual evolution. Friends, unwritten constitution develops over a period of time, not through deliberate enactment. Unwritten constitution reflects the historical and political growth of a country. Number 2, based on customs and conventions. Many constitutional principles exist as unwritten constitutions. For example, the British Prime Minister must be a member of the House of Commons. This is based on their practice or conventions. Number 3, derived from multiple sources. Dear friends, since the unwritten constitution doesn't have a single document, it derives its sources from historical documents, statutes and judicial decisions and conventions. Number 4, flexibility. Since unwritten constitutions are not codified, they can adapt easily to new circumstances. Dear friends, where there is unwritten constitution, changes can be made by ordinary laws or evolving conventions without formal amendment procedures like a written constitution. Number 5, reflects a national tradition. Dear friends, an unwritten constitution embodies centuries of political experience and continuity, maintaining a close connection with national history and culture. Friends, the British, Israel and New Zealand constitution are the best example of an unwritten constitution. The UK constitution is often described as unwritten, but this doesn't mean there are no written laws. It means that the constitution is not codified in a single document. Its strength lies in historical continuity and flexibility, and parliament remains supreme, meaning no parliament can bind its successors. This is a reflection of constitutional flexibility. Now let's focus on merits of an unwritten constitution. Number one, flexibility. Dear friends, unwritten constitutions are easily adaptable to social and political change. Number two, continuity. Dear friends, unwritten constitution reflects centuries of historical development. Number three, practicality. Friends, unwritten constitution avoids over formalism, adopts through political consensus rather than legal rigidity. Number four, democratic responsiveness. Here, the governments can quickly respond to new challenges without lengthy legal processes. Now let's focus on demerits of an unwritten constitution. Number one, lack of clarity. Dear friends, when I say unwritten constitution, no single document exists. Hence, it is difficult for citizens to know their exact rights. Number two, possibility of ambiguity, meaning conventions can be interpreted differently in changing political context. Number three, dependence on political morality. Here, effectiveness relies on the good sense and integrity of political leaders. Number four, judicial uncertainty. Here, the courts may struggle to define constitutional limits without clear written provisions. Dear friends, an unwritten or evolutionary constitution reflects the historical and cultural growth of a nation. It is flexible and dynamic, allowing institutions to evolve naturally. However, it can lack precision and may depend too heavily on unwritten conventions and political ethics. Friends, the classification of constitutions based on origin or form highlights the contrast between planned constitutionalism and organic political evolution. While written constitutions like those of India or the USA provide certainty, authority, and judicial protection, whereas the unwritten constitutions like that of the UK offer adaptability and continuity. Each reflects the historical experience, political maturity, and social culture of the nation it governs. Second one, the constitutions based on flexibility, that is amendability. Dear friends, every constitution must balance stability and adaptability. A state's political and social circumstances are never static. Hence, a constitution must be capable of change without losing its core identity. The method by which a constitution can be amended determines whether it is flexible or rigid. Dear friends, this classification based on amendability examines how easily or how strictly constitutional changes can be made. It reflects the balance between permanence and progress, between the need to preserve foundational principles and the necessity to respond to social realities. Now let's understand the flexible constitution. Dear friends, a flexible constitution is one that can be amended or changed through the ordinary legislative process, just like any other law passed by the legislature. It doesn't require any special or complex procedure. The same body that makes ordinary laws, usually the parliament or legislature, can also modify constitutional provisions. In essence, flexibility allows the constitution to evolve naturally with the political and social needs of the nation. Now let us understand the core features of the flexible constitution. Number one, no special amendment procedure. Dear friends, where there is flexible constitution, constitutional changes follow the ordinary legislative process, often requiring only a simple majority. Number two, high adaptability. Dear friends, the flexible constitution can quickly respond to changing social, economic, and political conditions. Number three, legislative supremacy. Since the legislature can amend the constitution easily, it is often supreme, as seen in the United Kingdom. Number four, integration with ordinary laws. Dear friends, where there is flexible constitution, there is often no clear distinction between constitutional and ordinary laws. Number five, ease of governance. Dear friends, the government can adopt legal frameworks without lengthy procedures where there is a flexible constitution. Now let us understand the advantages of flexible constitution. Number one, rapid adaptation. Dear friends, the constitution can be updated easily to meet new challenges like technological, political, or social. Number two, prevents antiquity, which means outdated provisions can be quickly removed or modified to suit present day needs. Number three, promotes legislative efficiency, meaning reduces bureaucratic or procedural delays in reforming governance structures. Number four, ensures flexibility in emergencies. Dear friends, the government can act swiftly during crisis without being constrained by rigid legal barriers. Now let us understand the disadvantages of flexible constitution. Number one, risk of political manipulation. Dear friends, where there is flexible constitution, the ruling majority may amend the constitution for partition or temporary political gain. Number two, instability, which means frequent amendments can weaken respect for the constitution and reduce public confidence in governance. Number 3, weak protection for fundamental rights. Dear friends, citizens' liberties may be at risk if constitutional safeguards can be changed by ordinary law. Number 4, erosion of constitutional supremacy. Dear friends, easy amendability blurs the distinction between constitutional law and ordinary law, undermining long-term stability. Dear friends, the British and New Zealand constitution are the classic example of a flexible constitution. Number 2, rigid constitution. Dear friends, a rigid constitution is one that requires a special and complex procedure for amendment different from the process used for ordinary laws. Such procedures may include supermajorities, that is to say, 2/3 or 3/4 approval. Number 2, ratification by states or provinces in federal systems, or even approval through public referendum. Friends, rigidity is intended to protect the sanctity of the constitution by ensuring that fundamental principles cannot be altered easily. Now let us understand the core features of the rigid constitution. Number 1, special amendment procedure. Dear friends, amendments require more than a simple majority, often needing 2/3 or 3/4 approval or ratification by subnational units. Number 2, supremacy of the constitution. Dear friends, the constitution stands above ordinary law and cannot be changed through routine legislative action. Number 3, judicial safeguards. Dear friends, where there is a rigid constitution, courts often play a key role in interpreting amendment powers and preventing violations. Number 4, entrenchment of core values, which means fundamental rights, division of powers, and constitutional principles are safeguarded from political influence. Number 5, written nature. Dear friends, most rigid constitutions are written and codified to ensure clarity and precision. Now let us understand the advantages of rigid constitution. Number 1, stability and continuity. Dear friends, rigid constitution prevents frequent changes, provides a long-term political and legal stability. Number 2, protection of fundamental rights, which means rigid constitution safeguards individual liberties from arbitrary government actions. Number 3, prevents misuse of power. Dear friends, rigid constitution ensures constitutional changes reflect national consensus, not temporary political majorities. Number 4, promotes respect for the constitution. So the difficulty of amendment encourages adherence to constitutional norms and principles. Now let us understand the disadvantages of rigid constitution. Number 1, inflexibility. Dear friends, rigid constitution makes adaptation to changing social, economic or technological realities more difficult. Number 2, risk of antiquity, which means some provisions may become outdated but remain unchangeable due to procedural hurdles. Number 3, possibility of constitutional crisis, meaning when reform is necessary but legally hard, conflicts between institutions may arise. Number 4, lengthy and costly amendment process involving multiple levels of approval such as federal ratification or referenda can delay reforms. Dear friends, the US Constitution is one of the best example for the most rigid constitutions in the world. Number 3, India's hybrid model, partly rigid and partly flexible. Dear friends, the Indian Constitution is a unique blend of both flexibility and rigidity. It strikes a balance between adaptability and constitutional sanctity, allowing reforms where necessary while protecting core principles from arbitrary change. Number 3, constitutions based on system that is a distribution of power. Dear friends, every state must determine how authority is distributed within its territory. Whether all powers are concentrated in a single national government or shared between central and regional units. Dear friends, the Constitution defines this distribution of sovereignty and helps to maintain a balance between national unity and local autonomy. On this basis, constitutions can be classified into 3 main types. Number 1, unitary constitution. Number 2, federal constitution. And number 3, confederation. Now let's see what exactly the unitary constitution. Dear friends, a unitary constitution establishes a system where sovereign power is concentrated in a single central government. The national authority is supreme and may delegate powers to local or regional bodies, but these powers exist only at its discretion and can be withdrawn at any time. Friends, in a unitary state, there is no constitutional division of power between different levels of government. The Constitution recognizes only one source of authority, that is the central legislature. Now let's focus on core features of unitary constitution. Number 1, single polity. Dear friends, where there is unitary constitution, there is only one sovereign government exercising control over the entire country. Number 2, no division of powers. Here, Here, the Constitution doesn't distribute legislative or executive powers between different levels. All authority flows from the center. Number 3, central supremacy, meaning the central parliament or national legislature has unlimited legal authority and can alter or abolish local governments. Number 4, flexible constitution. Dear friends, most unitary constitutions are flexible, allowing easy modification by the central legislature. Number 5, uniform laws. The same set of laws generally applies throughout the country, ensuring legal uniformity and administrative consistency. Number 6, subordinate local authorities, meaning local or regional governments exist but only as administrative conveniences under central supervision. Now let us understand the advantages of unitary constitution. Number 1, efficient decision making. Dear friends, centralized power allows for quick and decisive policy implementation. Number 2, uniformity of laws and policies. Dear friends, citizens across the country enjoy the same rights and responsibilities. Number 3, strong national identity. Friends, where there is a unitary constitution, it reduces regional divisions and strengthens national unity. Number 4, administrative simplicity, meaning few levels of authority make governance straightforward and less costly. Now let us understand the disadvantages of unitary constitution. Number 1, neglect of local needs, which means policies may not reflect regional diversity or local priorities. Number 2, risk of centralization, meaning excessive concentration of power can lead to bureaucratic control or authoritarianism. Number 3, limited local autonomy, which means local bodies depend entirely on the center for authority and funds. Number 4, overburdened central government, meaning the national government may become inefficient due to handling both national and local matters. Dear friends, United Kingdom, France and Japan constitutions are the best examples of unitary constitution. Dear friends, now let us understand the federal constitution. A federal constitution divides the powers of governance between a central government and the state governments. Both levels of government derive their authority directly from the constitution and neither can unilaterally alter the powers of the other. Dear friends, this system promotes a balance between unity and diversity, allowing national integration while preserving local autonomy. Now let us understand the core features of federal constitution. Number 1, dual polity. Dear friends, the federal constitution establishes two levels of government between the central government and state governments. Number 2, division of powers. Dear friends, the federal constitution clearly distributes legislative, executive and financial powers. Say for example, in India, there are 3 lists under the constitution: union list, state list and concurrent list. Number 3, written and supreme constitution. Friends, a federal constitution is written to ensure clarity and supreme over all laws binding on both center and states. Number 4, rigid amendment procedure. Since it affects the federal balance, amendments require special procedures and often state consent. Number 5, independent judiciary. Friends, a federal court, that is to say the Supreme Court, which interprets the constitution and resolves a dispute between the union and states. Number 6, distribution of revenues. Friends, financial resources are shared between central and state governments to ensure fiscal balance. Number 7, bicameral legislature. The upper house, that is to say the Rajya Sabha in India and the Senate in the USA, represents the states, ensuring their voice in national law making. Now let's focus on advantages of federal constitution. Number 1, local autonomy. Dear friends, where there is a federal constitution, each region can address its own needs, reflecting cultural and geographical diversity. Number 2, power sharing. Friends, federal constitution prevents concentration of power in one authority, safeguarding liberty and democracy. Number 3, encourages experimentation. Here, states can act as laboratories of democracy, testing new policies before national adoption. Number 4, promotes national unity in diversity. Dear friends, federal constitution accommodates ethnic, linguistic or regional diversity within one political system. Now let's focus on disadvantages of federal constitution. Number 1, conflict of authority, which means dispute may arise between central and state governments over power boundaries. Number 2, duplication of administration, meaning maintaining parallel structures at two levels can be costly and inefficient. Number 3, coordination challenges, meaning decision making can be slow due to the need for cooperation between levels. Number 4, risk of regionalism, which means state may prioritize local interest over national unity. Dear friends, United States of America, India and Germany constitution are the best examples of federal constitution. Now let us understand what is confederation. Dear friends, a confederation is a union of sovereign states that come together for limited common purposes such as defense, foreign policy or economic cooperation while retaining their individual sovereignty. Friends, the central authority created under a confederation is too weak, deriving its powers from the member state rather than directly from the people. Friends, in a confederal system, states remain supreme and the central government acts only as an agent for collective decisions. Now let us understand the core features of confederation. Number 1, voluntary association of states. Dear friends, where there is confederation, independent states form a loose alliance by treaty or agreement. Number 2, weak central government, meaning the central body has limited powers, usually confined to defense, trade or diplomacy. Number 3, state sovereignty, which means member states retain their sovereignty and can withdraw from the confederation if they choose. Number 4, lack of direct authority. Here, the central government cannot act directly on citizens, it operates through the governments of member states. Number 5, unwritten or treaty based. Dear friends, confederations are often based on agreements or charters rather than comprehensive constitutions. Now let us understand the advantages of confederation. Number 1, preservation of state sovereignty. Dear friends, where there is confederation, each state remains independent while cooperating on shared concerns. Number 2, flexibility. Here, the states can revise or withdraw from agreements as the situations change. Number 3, cooperation without coercion. Dear friends, confederation encourages voluntary unity among states for mutual benefits. Now let us understand the disadvantages of confederation. Number 1, weak central authority, which means the confederal government often lacks the power to enforce decisions effectively. Number 2, risk of disintegration, which means state may prioritize self-interest leading to instability. Number 3, inefficient collective action, which means without binding authority, coordination in defense or economy can be slow and ineffective. Dear friends, the first US system was a confederation of independent states with a weak Congress. But later, the US Constitution replaced this system with a stronger federal framework. And the European Union, although not a traditional confederation, but the European Union exhibits confederal features. Number 4, India's position, quasi-federal or federal with unitary bias. Dear friends, the Indian Constitution establishes a federal structure, yet it contains strong unitary elements, making it a hybrid or quasi-federal system. Dear friends, Indian federal features are: Number 1, division of powers. Number 2, dual polity and written constitution. Number 3, supremacy of constitution and independent judiciary. And number 4, bicameral legislature with a Rajya Sabha representing states. Dear friends, now let's understand constitutions based on the nature of government, that is monarchical versus republican. Friends, every constitution defines who holds the highest authority in the state and how that authority is acquired. This classification, that is to say the monarchical versus republican, depends on whether the head of the state is a hereditary monarch or an elected representative of the people. Now let's understand what is monarchical constitution. Friends, a monarchical constitution is one in which the head of the state is a monarch, a king, queen or emperor who usually holds the position through hereditary succession rather than election. The monarch may exercise absolute power or may rule under constitutional limitations where real authority lies with elected representatives. Thus, monarchies can be classified into two categories. Number 1, absolute monarchies where the ruler's powers are unlimited, and number 2, constitutional monarchies where the ruler acts within constitutional boundaries. Dear friends, now let's understand core features of monarchy. Number 1, hereditary succession. Dear friends, the position of the head of the state passes through the royal family, generally by inheritance, and the legitimacy is based on dynastic continuity, not on election. Number 2, lifelong tenure, which means monarchs typically reign for life, ensuring continuity and stability in leadership. Number 3, symbol of national unity. Dear friends, even in constitutional monarchies, the monarch acts as a non-political symbol of unity and tradition. Number 4, two types of monarchies. Number 1, absolute monarchy, where the monarch holds total control over the state and is not bound by constitutional law. And number 2, constitutional monarchy, where the monarch's powers are limited, governance is conducted by an elected parliament and the prime minister. Fifth one, historical origin. Dear friends, monarchies often emerge from feudal or dynastic traditions and are deeply rooted in history and culture. Now let's focus on advantages of monarchy. Number 1, continuity and stability. Dear friends, the monarchy provides a stable institution above political conflicts, and in times of crisis, it symbolizes unity and national resilience. Number 2, symbol of national identity. Friends, the monarchy embodies the history, culture, and traditions of the nation. Number 3, efficiency in absolute monarchies, which means centralized authority allows quick decision making without bureaucratic delay. Number 4, non-political head of the state. In constitutional monarchies, the monarch stands above politics, ensuring neutrality in government. Now let us understand the disadvantages of monarchy. Number 1, a lack of accountability, which means monarchs in absolute systems are not answerable to the people and hereditary leadership may not guarantee competence. Number 2, potential for abuse of power, which means absolute monarchies may lead to authoritarianism and suppression of civil liberties. Number 3, limited political participation. Dear friends, citizens have little or no role in selecting their head of the state. Number 4, conflict with democratic ideals, meaning hereditary rule conflicts with modern principles of equality and representation. Dear friends, for absolute monarchy, Saudi Arabia is the best example where the king holds supreme power. There is no codified constitution and governance is based on Sharia, that is Islamic law. And number 2, Brunei. The Sultan is both head of the state and head of government having full authority. And for constitutional monarchy, Japan is the best example where the emperor is the symbol of the state and of the unity of the people. Dear friends, now let's understand what is the Republican Constitution. Dear friends, a Republican Constitution is one in which the head of the state is elected either directly by the people or indirectly through their representatives for a fixed term. The fundamental principle of a republic is that sovereignty lies with the people and all authority is derived from their consent. Dear friends, in a republic, the government is accountable to the people and leaders can be replaced through democratic processes. Now let's understand the core features of the Republican Constitution. Number 1, elected head of the state. Dear friends, the president is chosen through direct or indirect elections. Number 2, fixed term of office, which means the head of the state serves for a constitutionally defined term, ensuring periodic accountability. Number 3, popular sovereignty. Dear friends, the ultimate source of political power lies with the citizens. Number 4, rule of law and equality, meaning all individuals including the government are subject to law, no hereditary privileges exist. Number 5, separation of powers. Dear friends, in many republics, powers of the executive, legislature and judiciary are clearly divided to prevent concentration of authority. Now let's focus on advantages of Republican Constitution. Number 1, accountability. Dear friends, elected leaders are responsible to the people and can be voted out of power. Number 2, equality. Positions of authority are open to all citizens regardless of birth or lineage. Number 3, democratic legitimacy, which means leaders derive their mandate from the people's will. Number 4, progressive adaptability, meaning republics are more flexible in aligning governance with modern democratic values. Now let's discuss disadvantages of Republican Constitution. Number 1, political instability. Dear friends, frequent elections or changes in leadership can disrupt governance. Number 2, short-term policy focus, which means leaders may prioritize immediate popularity over long-term planning. Number 3, partisan polarization, meaning electoral competition can lead to division and gridlock. Number 4, risk of populism, meaning popular appeal may override competence or integrity in leadership selection. Dear friends, a monarchical constitution embodies tradition, continuity and ceremonial unity, while a Republican Constitution represents popular sovereignty, equality and accountability. Dear friends, now the next classification is constitutions based on governance framework, that is to say the parliamentary, presidential and semi-presidential systems. Dear friends, the governance framework of a constitution determines how political power is organized, exercised and controlled within a state. In particular, it defines the relationship between the executive and the legislature and the extent to which they are interdependent or separate. This classification helps us to understand whether authority is concentrated, shared or divided among the key organs of the state. So there are 3 major types of governance frameworks. Number 1, parliamentary system. Number 2, presidential system. And number 3, semi-presidential system. Now let's understand the parliamentary system. Dear friends, a parliamentary system, also called the cabinet cabinet system is one where the executive derives its authority from the legislature and is directly accountable to it. The government continues in office only so long as it enjoys the confidence of the majority in the legislature. Friends, the head of the state, that is monarch or president, is largely ceremonial, while the head of the government, that is prime minister, holds real executive power. Now let's understand the core features of parliamentary system. Number one, fusion of powers, which means the executive and legislatures are closely interlinked and ministers are usually members of parliament. Number two, collective responsibility, meaning the entire cabinet is collectively responsible to the legislature. A vote of no confidence can remove the government. Number three, dual executive, meaning there is a nominal executive, that is the head of the state, and a real executive, that is the prime minister and cabinet. Number four, prime minister as a real executive. Dear friends, the prime minister is the leader of the majority party in the legislature and heads the council of ministers. Number five, parliamentary supremacy. Friends, the legislature is the central authority controlling the government through debates, motions and questions. Number six, party discipline. Dear friends, strong political parties ensure coordination between the executive and legislature. Now let's understand the advantages of parliamentary system. Number one, accountability, which means the government is answerable to the parliament and can be dismissed through no confidence motion. Number two, flexibility, which means easy replacement of the government without constitutional crisis as no impeachment is required. Number three, efficient lawmaking, meaning the fusion of powers enables smooth passage of legislation. Number four, responsiveness, meaning the executive reflects the composition and will of the elected legislature. Number five, collective decision making. Dear friends, cabinet decisions are made through consensus, promoting cooperation. Now let's understand disadvantages of parliamentary system. Number one, instability. Dear friends, frequent changes of government can occur if no party secures a clear majority. Number two, weak separation of powers, which means executive dominance may reduce parliamentary independence, especially with strong ruling majorities. Number three, possibility of executive overreach, which means when the ruling party has a large majority, parliamentary control may become symbolic. Number four, coalition politics. Dear friends, in multi-party system, alliances can lead to compromise politics and policy inconsistency. Examples of parliamentary system. Dear friends, United Kingdom, the model parliamentary democracy, that is to say, the government remains in office only while it enjoys the confidence of the House of Commons. In India, the president is the constitutional head while the prime minister and council of ministers exercise a real executive power. Canada, Japan, Australia all follow variations of the Westminster system. Now let us understand the presidential system. Dear friends, a presidential system is one where the executive, that is president, is constitutionally independent of the legislature. The president is both the head of the state and head of the government and is elected separately either directly by the people or through an electoral college. This system is based on the principle of separation of powers. Now let us focus on core features of presidential system. Number one, separation of powers, which means the executive, legislature and judiciary function as a distinct and independent branches. Each organ checks and balances the other. Number two, single executive, meaning the president performs both ceremonial and executive roles. Number three, fixed tenure. The president serves for a fixed term and cannot be easily removed except through impeachment. Number four, no collective responsibility, which means ministers are responsible only to the president, not to the legislature. Number five, non-overlapping membership, meaning members of the legislature cannot hold the executive office simultaneously. Number six, checks and balances, which means each organ, that is to say the executive, legislature and judiciary, can restrain the others from exceeding its powers. Now let's focus on advantages of presidential system. Number one, stable executive. Dear friends, fixed tenure ensures continuity and political stability. Number two, effective leadership. Friends, the president can act decisively, particularly in emergencies. Number three, clear separation of functions, which means presidential system reduces legislative interference in administration. Number four, direct accountability, meaning the president is directly responsible to the electorate, not to parliament. Number five, national representation. Friends, a directly elected president often symbolizes the unity of the nation. Now let us understand the disadvantages of presidential system. Number one, possibility of deadlock. Friends, if the president and legislature belong to opposing parties, conflicts can paralyze governance. Number two, risk of authoritarianism. system, meaning excessive executive independence can lead to concentration of power. Number 3, rigid tenure, which means an unpopular or ineffective president cannot be easily removed before the end of the term. Number 4, weaker accountability, meaning the legislature cannot dismiss the executive through a vote of no confidence. Number 5, limited collective responsibility. Dear friends, decision making may become personalized rather than collaborative. Dear friends, United States of America is the best example for presidential system. Brazil, Mexico, Argentina all follow variations of the US model with directly elected presidents. Now let us understand the semi-presidential system. Dear friends, a semi-presidential system is a hybrid model combining features of both the presidential and parliamentary systems. It involves a dual executive, a president, he is head of the state, and a prime minister, he is head of government. The president usually handles national policy and foreign affairs while the prime minister manages domestic administration. This model aims to combine stability of the presidential system with the accountability of the parliamentary system. Now let us understand the core features of semi-presidential system. Number 1, dual executive, which means the president is elected and shares power with the prime minister. Number 2, division of responsibilities, which means the president deals with foreign affairs and defense, the prime minister manages domestic policies and day-to-day governance. Number 3, mixed accountability, meaning the prime minister and cabinet are accountable to the legislature while the president is accountable to the electorate. Number 4, checks and balances between executives. Dear friends, the system requires cooperation between the two executives which can lead to balance or conflict. Number 5, flexible power sharing, meaning the degree of presidential power may vary depending on political circumstances and constitutional design. Now let us understand the advantages of semi-presidential system. Number 1, balanced power distribution. Dear friends, semi-presidential system prevents excessive centralization of authority. Number 2, stability with accountability. Friends, the president ensures continuity, the prime minister maintains legislative confidence. Number 3, flexibility, meaning the system can adapt to political realities by shifting power between president and PM. Number 4, efficient decision making. Dear friends, dual leadership allows a division of responsibilities and quicker response to complex issues. Now let us understand the disadvantages of semi-presidential system. Number 1, possibility of conflict. Dear friends, differences between president and prime minister can lead to policy paralysis. Number 2, ambiguity of authority, which means overlapping powers can cause confusion in governance. Number 3, political instability during cohabitation, meaning when the president and parliamentary majority belong to opposing parties, coordination becomes difficult. Number 4, complex accountability. Here, citizens may find it hard to determine who is responsible for government actions. Dear friends, France, Portugal and Russia are the best example of the semi-presidential system.